Instagram, what a better segue than over to
100%
Threads. So last episode,
we got into it about Threads.
Brand new, uncharted territory. I was out there, boots on the ground. Bing Bang had not yet joined the Threads fun, but Bing Bang is now there, has a presence, a successful presence. Follow us on Threads, please. And yeah, I just wanted to, you've been in there for a week.
Yeah.
What are we feeling?
I'm loving the time that we're at, like right now, where it's been around a couple weeks. Yep. It's just fun. It's a place for brands to just hop on there and show a little bit of their personality, be a little quirky, but be a little humorous, shed some light into the behind the scenes of their business. So it's just like a fun place to be at. And I see it as a big opportunity. Like, we get a lot of clients in here, and they always like, I want to humanize my brand. I want to be relatable to the person. Threads, like especially right now, is the perfect time to do that with your ideal audience and the people that you want to reach, especially because we talked about last time, when you sign up, like your Instagram, they can follow everyone you already follow. Yeah. So you already have that audience on there, and why not talk to them in a real, raw, fun, personality-driven way?
I love it. And you good? I love it.
You need a little help?
This is what we're talking about. Yes, they are growing, but you still see some of those brands that normally over on Twitter or on Instagram even would have thousands and thousands. Some of them are still like in those low numbers. So way more opportunity to get in there and interact with those brands, or for the brand to interact with the consumer if they're a B2C brand, which most of them are. Yeah. So it's really, really interesting. Yeah, I agree. From a consumer, it's kind of piddling out for me a little bit. But
it's
for
not
a
part
brand,
of your like social media rotation anymore?
No.
I get that.
I shut the notifications off.
Oh.
Yeah. I did join TikTok this past week.
Yeah, you did. How's that journey for you?
It's a lot. I had joined once and I left, and I'm back.
Yeah.
And I may leave again. It's a lot.
Okay, so what do you think, what made TikTok so successful rather than Threads being so successful? You know what I mean? Like, it's essentially the same thing. One's just visual, one's
It's the video element. It has to be, because I can not only hear what the person is saying, but I can see the person that's saying it, and then I can, and then... Yeah, I don't know. It's definitely the visual element.
It has to be, and it's just that attention getting rather than just reading.
Yes.
One more point I was going to make about it is, like, you're starting to see all these people, here's your Threads strategy and whatnot. And I just think it's kind of funny to me to come out with that saying, just because A, it is so new.
Put your flag in the ground and say, this is it.
But also B, it's like, it's the same strategy you should be doing on every other platform. Right. It's no different. You want to share your behind the scenes. You want to give insight. You want to share about you and your why. So it's the same strategy, just another platform to showcase it.
It's just an opportunity for people to position themselves as the expert, which we, all want to do, but some of us are just a little more obvious about it. It's just fun. I think that's funny too. Here is your threat. It's okay. Well, you're trying a little too hard.
But it should be the same. Yeah, like I said, same strategy. All platforms.
Yes.
It's all the same purpose.
Yes. Well, I love it. I think that's a great update. Another update. So we have been talking, since this started, we have been talking about the writer's strike over in Hollywood. Now the actors have joined that strike as well. So Hollywood has essentially stopped as of this recording, Monday, July 17th.
Yeah.
It stopped. And so the writers joined in solidarity with, the actors joined the writers in solidarity, and it is all around this AI discussion, and it's the ethics and all of that, and we will get into that, trust me. But yeah, the actors cannot do interviews. The actors cannot do podcasts. The actors cannot do red carpet. They cannot do anything. So essentially, they are saying Hollywood has stopped, and we'll get into more of that, but I think that's so interesting.
Yeah, it's like, what does it mean for Hollywood? Like right now we have like the Barbie movie coming out. We have that Oppenheimer, thank you, movie coming out. Like, we have all this great stuff, and right now, like, nothing's being created or produced or whatever. And like in a few months, what are we going to have to watch?
I know, we'll see. And this, I don't know, this is a huge conversation. We've got those billionaires thinking, we'll be fine. But this is going to get pretty serious if the actors and the writers and everybody, if they don't come to some sort of agreement. We'll see. That's just super interesting.
I know, but like something we always talk about too is AI's not going to take your job.
They're not brilliant.
Yeah.
AI is not brilliant. AI is brilliant, but AI will never replace the brilliance of the human brain, the creativity, the
wit,
talent, the wit, the timing.
Yeah.
It just will not. And so I guess those billionaires are in for a rude awakening when
100%.
anything that's produced through AI is, less than.
Yep.
Yeah, everything has changed as we knew it before. Like, I'll just say that. I'm comfortable saying that.
Yeah.
Photography has changed, film, music, everything has changed as we knew it. Like, it will never be the same.
No.
Which is just pretty incredible if you think about it. It's different than it was a year ago.
Yeah, and I was even talking about it with my dad this weekend too, surprisingly.
And Todd had some pretty great insight on this.
I was like, it's so funny. AI is so interesting because it's been around forever.
It's been around forever.
Not forever, but like, a very long time. It's just like suddenly having this resurgence and this like popularity right now, and it's drawing all this attention to it. But like, we've been living in AI for a very long time, and we've discussed some ways we have been, but now it's just taken it's a new level in the game.
I do feel like it is showing all of its capabilities all at once, and I think that's what's taking people by surprise. Is it's not just predictive text at the end of your email. It's not just an image here or there. It's showing all of it all at once, and I'm not sure why that happened, or they decide like, here it is.
Yeah.
And it is overwhelming, and so hopefully podcasts like this, breaking it down piece by piece, can make it feel less overwhelming. I mean, we can't predict the future. Who knows what's going to happen?
No.
But yeah, just working with it and how you can use it to your advantage is what we're trying to do. And
yeah,
yeah,
and hopefully we can still work with it, because this morning we had our company meeting, and Lori, our COO, told us that ChatGPT is getting, not ChatGPT, excuse me, AI is getting sued.
Yes. OpenAI, the company behind ChatGPT, has been hit with a lawsuit. This is from CNN. I'm citing my sources, alleging the company stole and misappropriated vast swaths of people's data from the internet. Wow. This was not written by AI. I can tell you that much.
Vast swaths.
This person is like, I am going to use my English.
I'm going to show you that AI cannot replace me.
Absolutely not. Oh, I'm sorry. Vast swaths of people's data from the internet to train its AI tools. And so the proposed class action lawsuit filed last Wednesday, no, I believe it was in June, and a California federal court claims that OpenAI secretly scraped massive amounts of personal data from the internet. According to the complaint, the nearly 160-page complaint alleges that this personal data, front and back, including essentially every piece of data exchanged on the internet it could take, was also seized by the company without notice, consent, or just compensation. And that is what leads us directly into our conversation today.
Right.
Ethics.
We were kind of talking about it before I guess we're going to say bye to Instagram.
Yes,
it's okay.
Sorry.
It's okay. We could say goodbye. If you want to watch the rest of this episode, be sure to tune in on Tuesday, where we're going to break down more ethics on AI.
Bye. Okay, thank you for that little short break of us.
We had to let our Instagram. We had to say goodbye to our Instagram.
We
people.
did, but today I think all these episodes have been very interesting for me. This is the least cut and dry episode because, as we'll get into, ethics can mean so much to so many different people, and I mean, so many factors factor into ethics and what you believe in. How AI plays into that. So I am really excited to just dig into this and talk through how those two go hand in hand, or if they do, or if AI is really going to take over the world. And,
Yeah, it's definitely been a question that's been lingering in every episode that we recorded, is like the ethics part of AI. Like, yes, it's so great and it's such a great and powerful tool, but where is there a line? Are we being aware of the line?
Are we straddling the line?
Yeah. Are we tiptoeing it? Do we notice it, but we don't want to look at it straight in the eye, you know? So we're going to get into that today and how we view the ethics around AI with some examples that we've found and on the internet, some stories that have popped up, especially with so much content that it's generating and producing. There's just such an influx of it. Sometimes it's hard to take it all in. And reevaluate, like, okay, like, is this okay? Like, is it not okay? And it even goes, this just popped into my brain, like, sometimes even like with celebrity culture, like we pick and choose. Like,
Exactly.
oh, you're going to get canceled today and you're not going to get canceled today. So that's what we're going to talk about with the ethics part. Mackenzie's going to give us the definition of what ethics actually is.
Yes.
But as we were kind of discussing, like, you ask someone about their ethics and it can mean 10 different things to 10 different people. So it is all subjective. We'll explain where our ethics line is as well. So you can take that
a little loose.
Yeah. So you can take that into consideration as we go through these examples too. But yeah, do you want to give us the definition? I
absolutely will. So yeah, exactly. Like we've been talking about this. It's not ethical. It's not ethical. Okay, well, what is the baseline of ethics? What is the definition? Water it all down, bare bones. What is the bare bones definition of ethics? Ethics are the moral principles that govern a person's behavior or the conducting of an activity. So it's not black and white. Just like you said, it could mean 10 different things to 10 different people. And that's because moral principles that govern a person's behavior, that's all individual basis.
Yeah.
So something unethical to me, you may be picketing for it. You may be protesting for that thing, which we actually see happen all the time.
Yeah.
So then you pull in this unknown territory, this tool, this thing that people don't know a lot about. And yes, there has been a lot of, it's unethical. It's going to take our jobs. It's misunderstood. It's not, it is. We don't know enough about it to know if it's ethical or not. And we'll get into some points. Like, of course, there are instances where it can cross a line, but, you know.
Yeah, and then it's like, it becomes with some of the examples we have today, it's like a personal preference too, right? It's not like, we're not here saying this is ethical and this is not ethical.
No,
like,
we are not here to tell you.
Right.
Talked about your moral compass. That's all you.
This is just our point of view and our perspective with experiences that we've had and how we see it within what we do here at Bing Bang. Like, something ethical for me is like, would I get fired if I were to do this? Right?
Yes, I use the stomach method.
Oh,
does it give me the? If it does, probably don't do that. It's all about trusting your intuition. And again, I was raised a completely different way that even you were raised potentially. So, yes, stomach. Fired.
Yeah.
Got it.
Either way, we're going to dive into how we view these two different things or these different stories, but we want to hear what you guys think too.
Definitely.
If it is ethical, if it's not ethical, send us an email or leave a comment anywhere we're around.
Maybe we'll run another poll. And there is, it's not black and white, but I do want to know, do you think it's ethical? Just general point of view.
Yeah.
Do you think it's ethical? Do you think it's unethical? I think we'll find a lot out. I cannot talk. You'll have to cut that out. I have been talking a lot today already.
Yeah, you have.
We have been chit-chatting a lot. So yeah, that'll be very telling.
I did write down some questions to help with a little framework to help determine if something is ethical in AI content or not. So the first one, full disclosure, I did ask ChatGPT too for her, it's his.
She's a little stressed right now because I heard she's getting sued.
Yeah, she's like, I don't have time for this bullshit.
Litigation. I am busy.
So the first question that I found relevant to what we're about to discuss today is it clear to the audience that the content has been generated by AI and not a human? So making it clear that yes, a human did not come up with this text or create this image, but this is AI generated content. Does the AI generated content comply with relevant laws, regulations, and industry standards? This is one
that's
pretty
big. I don't know if that's ethics. That's just against the law or
legal?
Not. Yeah.
Are there any unintended consequences or risks associated with the content's deployment? One of these stories in particular made me think that this one was good.
Yep.
You added in there, is it being used maliciously?
Yes.
Which is a great point. And then a bonus one I had from ChatGPT is, has the user consent been obtained before using their data, which is extremely relevant with what we just discussed with OpenAI getting sued. But a point with that is, like, this isn't the first time, like, Facebook was getting in trouble for that same thing, right? It's, sharing people's information without their consent.
Right.
So it's just another.
What big one pops into your head, and this is just me going completely off script, but what other one pops into your head with that? Has the user consent been obtained before using their data to generate content? And I'm old, so I have a different perspective.
I don't know. Tell me what you're thinking.
Snapchat.
Oh.
Okay. We use this app. We know the risks involved.
Yeah.
It's a photo video sharing app. We think that stuff just disappears.
Yeah.
We're smarter than that. We know it doesn't disappear. The ethics of all of that and using those apps to contact different people. I mean, I just have always felt that there's an opportunity for that to come back and bite us all in the ass.
Yeah.
Especially if things like AI, OpenAI are, like, I'm just going to use this. And then it goes back to be used maliciously, be used. It's just really interesting. I say interesting a lot. I noticed that on the last episode. I need to find a new word. I need to find a dictionary, babe.
Yeah, that's like your buffer word.
It is.
It's interesting.
But it is.
As you're thinking.
And I was like, giving myself giving myself a hard time. It is really interesting. It's all brand new.
It's okay. I'm a hair toucher. I touch my hair constantly.
I touch my face. Anyway.
Moving on with our bad qualities of ourselves.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you want to dive into the first example? This is a story that you might have referenced in our first episode.
Yes, I am. But before that, I'm just going to make a blanket statement that I feel, this is my opinion. If you feel it's ethical, unethical, at the end of the day, AI, Chat GPT, all these tools, they're tools. Mm-hmm. And they can be used for malicious intent or not. I really feel they are like a weapon or garlic. You have to use it to your advantage.
Garlic could be a weapon.
That's what I'm saying. Too much garlic in a dish, it's going to ruin the whole thing.
100%.
So you really have to use it the way that you feel that it should be used and not overdo it or use it in a way that it should not be used. I mean, a car, I'm sure people, when automobiles came on scene, the people on their horses were like, what the fuck are they doing? I don't know why they talked like that.
What the fuck?
How, because they're bouncing up and down.
They're on a horse.
But it's a tool and you have to be responsible with how you use it.
Yeah.
So that's just my kind of blanket statement to discuss it. And that's my viewpoint right now. Again, we can't read the future. Maybe it will go off the walls. I really hope not. Off the rails. I hope not. But who knows? That's where I stand right now.
I like it.
Thanks.
It's interesting.
It's interesting.
I'm sorry. I had to.
You did. Okay. This first one, again, references where we were back in February when we launched this podcast, and everyone's using the AI to generate headshots and images and beautiful images, make them look like Barbie, things like that of themselves. So I read a piece from the Huffington Post. This woman paid the money to have it generate her headshots, AI generate her headshots. She was so excited she couldn't sleep. She got the headshots. She opened them. She loved them. She was wearing these clothes that she wouldn't wear. She was in these scenes that, she was in the jungle. She was in all these places that she's never been. She loved them. She was herself, but she was a different version of herself. So she did what a lot of people did at the time. She made it her profile picture on Facebook or wherever. And within a few hours, she was getting so many comments. You're beautiful. You look so well rested. You look gorgeous. You've never looked better. You're this, you're that. And it just made her look inside and think, I don't like this because they are not complimenting me. They're complimenting this other version of me that I will never be able to obtain. She had talked about having babies. She had talked about aging. It took away the silver in her hair. It took away the qualities that made her her and showed, how she had gotten to that point in her life. And so it just made her feel bad. Yeah. And so she took that away. And she took it down. She just couldn't handle it. But I totally understand and get that viewpoint. When I was seeing all these people come out with their AI, I'm like, they look gorgeous. They look beautiful. Right. I don't want to do that to myself. Yeah. Because then I'll see a version of myself that I cannot obtain without plastic surgery or without extreme weight loss or, without all these factors, without dyeing my hair. Yeah. And so that's just kind of ethical question number one to yourself. You're misleading. Yeah. You're misleading. That gut check thing. It's that gut check. It did. It kind of made me go like, ooh, I don't like that personally.
Yeah, no. And I was thinking about this too as we were discussing this before we started. I think of what's the app everyone uses to
Facetune.
Facetune, yeah.
Yeah.
And it goes, I think it could even be like a generation thing, maybe like we're a little older and we are embracing our beer guts and our gray hair. But the younger generations, I mean, like they're on Facetune every photo they do, and they're making their face thinner, and it's the same thing. They're trying
the same thing.
So yeah, it is a gut check. Like that's not who I am, but at the same time, it's kind of like how this younger generation is getting built up. Like this is okay to do to my photos.
And that's to curate this other version of themselves. That's their Instagram feed or their TikTok feed, or, and I don't know. I cannot relate. I am way too removed from that.
Either.
But personally, I want, the last thing I would ever want is to meet someone, and even with my behavior, my personality, to someone be like, that's not the person who I thought she was, because she portrays herself in a certain way. And so, this story made me think of that question we talked about at the beginning. What one was it? I think it was the maybe unintended consequences kind of thing that stood out to me, because... And even the first one, is it clear that the content is generated by AI? Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like they don't know if it is or not. But like an unintended consequence of someone using an AI generated headshot is this isn't actually you.
Yes. So, yes, you could apply for a job and say, I have all these skills. Then you get the job and you do not have the skills. It's kind of drawing a parallel that way. I mean, not with your, obviously you should not get a job based on your looks unless you're a supermodel.
Yeah.
Which I'm not. Sadly. Did you know that? I'm not. Yeah, not yet. It's never too late. It can be misleading.
Yeah. It goes, my head went to catfishing.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yes.
People catfish.
What's his name is going to have a heyday with this.
This show's going to go off the charts.
Oh my goodness.
What is that show called?
Catfishing. Catfish.
That's simple.
It's called Catfish.
Straight to the point. Catfish.
Straight to the point. Yes. Oh, very interesting.
Yeah, that's another thing that popped in my head.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Yeah.
I know. So that one is more of from my perspective, it's a personal decision.
Definitely.
Like, do I want to portray this photo of me that is not me at all, or am I comfortable doing that, or would I rather show my gray hairs and my beer gut,
Definitely. Okay, my next example, I listened to the A Bit of Optimism podcast with Simon Sinek. He's one of our favorites.
I like him.
He's wonderful. He's just amazing. His
Brilliant.
insight. He is. And he interviewed the Chief of Staff of the Air Force, C.Q. Brown Jr., which... great episode if you are interested. It was about leadership and how when you get to a certain point, people give information to you differently. Like they don't feel as comfortable.
Yeah.
And so at the end, he just grilled him on a few things, AI being one of them. And he said, it's great. I don't really use it. People typed his name into Chat GPT and asked it to explain him as a leader, and he said that they did a pretty good job.
Yeah.
But he's Chief of Staff of the Air Force, as high as you can get. He is worried about, it's not if, it's when AI and tools as such can be used maliciously or with malicious intent. And just, it can start kind of low scale, low stakes and get larger. But there is that scam, this reminded me of it, that scam going around that, and who knows, maybe this is fake news or whatever they call it. I do believe it's been proven that this is true. People can call you, you have your voicemail, they can record the voicemail and reconstruct your voice to then, call your grandma and say, Grandma, it's Mackenzie. I have been kidnapped and taken somewhere and I need you to give these kidnappers a bunch of money and iTunes gift cards. A bunch of monies and iTunes gift cards. So there are ways that it can be used maliciously. That again, that's not a small example, but not a huge.
Another one that it reminds me of is I think it was the first episode too. I was following this Chat GPT gal on TikTok, and she brought up a story how she used Chat GPT to pose a letter, and she was a lawyer.
Yes.
In the perspective of a lawyer, to get something in her apartment fixed because there wasn't anything. I mean, to some that could be with malicious intent because she was being someone she's
Yes.
not,
Yes.
essentially. But to get the outcome that she desired.
Right.
So
Yes.
that's another example where that could come into play.
Yeah. And so on that example, using the pieces of the voice, it leads right into your example, which...
Let me pull up this story. So when did I say? June 14th, this came out. Paul McCartney announces final Beatles record with artificial intelligence restoring John Lennon vocals. So let's get into what People magazine had to say about this.
People, one of our best.
But it brings up the point, like, okay, it was a demo that John had that we worked on. McCartney said we were able to take John's voice and get it pure through this AI. Then we can mix the record as you would normally do, so it gives you some sort of leeway. A similar move, McCartney said, was employed by Oscar-winning director Peter Jackson. A similar move that has been done by Peter Jackson in 2021 documentary series, The Beatles Got Back. The Beatles... What's that song?
Baby Got Back?
Yeah. The Beatles got back.
Wow.
Get back.
Get back. And I cannot lie. Wow. I'm so sorry about that.
I know, but it brings up, like, to me, like, do you see this as a cool thing or a not a cool thing? Is it ethical? Is it not?
Did we talk about the James Dean example on a last episode or not? Was that just you and I chatting? We'll talk about this first. Chit-chatting. Now that's a tough one because if they're going to use it in the way to just purify his voice, they're going to use AI to clean up a product that's already there. I don't think it's unethical or misleading. If they're going to reconstruct his voice and have him say things that he didn't say in the previous songs, that's a little...
Yeah, but they're coming out and saying that it's AI is generating his voice for this song. So it's like...
For a brand new song that he never sang.
Yes. Well, what are they doing? They're remake the Finals Beatles record. Yeah, a new song, I think.
Okay, so
Let me keep reading.
No, you're good.
Keep talking.
I think it's two different things. If they are just cleaning up an old song that he recorded and they're making his voice sound cleaner, with the recording that we would have now, you listen to the old Beatles, they're not going to sound the same as they would right now if they recorded right now because different equipment, different technology, different everything. But if they're going to take samples of his voice and create a new song, that's kind of gives me that, ooh, like that's not right.
The only part that makes me like, ooh, that's not right is like, who gets credit for this, right?
Yeah.
Like, or even the money. You could even talk about the money. Like, does he get a cut or his family get a cut?
His trust.
Whatever this is.
Yes.
There's more quotes down here. He said he could separate them with AI. He could tell the machine, this is a voice, this is a guitar, lose the guitar, and he did that, so it has great uses. No further information was given about the release.
I think I saw Paul McCartney defending this. People were blowing it out of proportion, so we'll have to follow up and just see what actually is going on, because I think Paul McCartney was like, no, that's not right.
Nice. We went from country to English.
No, I think you're blowing it out of proportion. I'm sorry.
People magazine.
People magazine. We're the Beatles.
What is happening? We can't stop this train.
We can't stop. Well, I sent you. Okay, back to you saying the Beatles sang "Baby Got Back." Remember when I sang you the Frank Sinatra to the windows, to the walls,
to the sweat drops down my bleep.
Remember that?
Yes.
So
yes.
They did take his voice, or maybe they had someone impersonating him. I can't say. Who's to say? But they, to the window.
But it could happen even with this podcast. People could take our previous episodes and
nobody can recreate this.
But they could take our voice and what we talk about, and they could make their own episode based off us.
Absolutely. Or they can make us say things that we didn't actually say.
So
they can dub it in.
And that's without our consent. So maybe with this, it even comes into play. Like,
he can't consent.
He can't. No. but could his family on behalf of him, or is that still like not even their
I don't know.
their choice? The article, the magazine, said the brand previously tried to record the song while putting together their
Yes, you can do it. You can do
anthology series in 1995, but abandoned it because George Harrison, who died in 2001 at age 56, complained the sound quality was rubbish.
It's rubbish. We're the Beatles. It sounds like rubbish.
But yeah.
I'm so sorry. I have not.
I tried to ignore
I
this.
have not been drinking. It's 1:42 p.m.
I thought about
it.
it.
On a Monday. I did think about it. Oh my goodness. Okay. All right.
So yeah, we're kind of split on that one. Because like I don't. It kind of, this could even kind of set the precedent.
I think you keep going back and forth with whether you agree with it or not.
I am cool with it. Like they told me it's AI.
Oh yeah.
Like,
I don't care about that.
Do it. My only thing would be like who gets credit for it.
Yeah.
And that's when our MVS Luke
has gotten
IP
name
attorney
dropped
needs to
twice into it. Well, no, multiple
in our
times
notes.
in the last
I'm
episode.
like, we need Luke on
We
here.
do need Luke. We need to. I know we said this is a fourth and final, but maybe we bring Luke in to just chit chat. We'll see. Yeah. He's a busy, really extremely busy guy.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah. Okay, keep us rolling.
My last one I wanted to discuss. It's kind of a wild card, crazy thing.
Now, this one's interesting.
AI teddy bears are here. Could they be putting your kids at risk? So from the New York Post, it says, in the not so distant future, you could walk in on a teddy bear reading a bedtime story to your child. And it wouldn't be just any story. It'd be a saga tailored to everything the toy knows about your child, including likes, dislikes, and even their deepest secrets.
No. I'm sorry. Goosebumps.
Yeah, is that
John says no too.
Yeah, isn't that not wild? So imagine a toy that can learn everything about your child. Your kid can hold entire conversations with the toy, and it'll respond in complete sentences. The more your child speaks to the toy, the more intelligent it becomes.
No. There are movies, I'm sure, based on this and how it has gone terribly wrong. It's like Tickle Me Elmo combined with Chucky combined with that weird movie with Johnny Depp where he was uploaded to the, you know what I'm talking about? No. Yeah, it's like he died and then I don't know.
Oh, but yeah, it's pretty wild. It says that they can talk a child down from a temper tantrum, entertain them, and teach them lessons. No doubt your child will form a real bond with this toy.
I cannot. No.
What if... like something else like what if the toy could relay what the kid said to the toy back to you as the parent? No,
you have boundaries. That all loss of boundaries at that point. Oh, that makes me sick to my stomach. It actually does. My stomach hurts.
Oh, it gets worse. Going way beyond basic information, I'm willing to bet these toys may also collect school and home locations and sensitive data about mom and dad.
No, that is unethical. Then I'm going to throw this whole podcast series in the trash if that's where that is being used from. It may not seem malicious on the surface, but it is. Because you go back to those questions. What could they use? What could they learn about our children? What could they... absolutely not. No.
Yeah, it says, whenever a toy has recording capabilities, the data is often collected, stored, and shared with third-party buyers.
That's disgusting. No. I would be out back stabbing that little teddy bear with a kitchen knife.
That's like a Halloween story.
No way, Jose. No.
Yeah, so we're pretty much in agreement on that one.
Good. If anyone disagrees, come at me. Send me a DM. I am ready to take you on.
Yeah, I wonder what the positives, the other side would say to it, like why they would be in favor of it.
Parents are busy. They don't know what's going on in their children's lives. Maybe there's a bullying situation that the kid won't come clean about or habits or whatever. And it's like reading their diary.
It is like reading their diary.
That's completely invading their privacy and their trust. And it takes so much to even build up trust with little kids, you know? And oh my gosh, I cannot imagine doing that to my children or my parents doing that to me. That seriously makes me want to cry.
It's like, I hate it. It's gut wrenching.
It is gut wrenching
to think about it. I'm not a parent, so I don't know what this feeling is like, but as a child, I would not.
No, can you imagine finding out like
that your mom knew everything you said.
Mom, did you listen to my teddy bear?
It's like putting a camera in the kids' room.
Well, nanny cams. That's exactly where my mind went initially, and how they would hide those in the teddy bears.
Yeah.
It's just an upgraded version of the nanny cam.
Yeah, not cool, not ethical on our watch.
No.
No.
Those were great examples, I think, to pull out, some rage. But just to start
and
the
some
discussion.
English accents.
Not just the English accent, the Beatles. It's very specific. Is it not?
I don't know why you keep doing it. Like it kind of sounds a little Irish or Scottish.
The Beatles.
Beatles.
Oh Lord!
No,
wow,
that was a good way to round out our series. So I would have a little final thoughts segment.
Yes, I love it.
Throw in here. What are your final thoughts on the series overall?
I have enjoyed it so much. Opening up this conversation, getting you guys all involved. It's just a conversation. Just like no one's an expert on the threads. No one's an expert in AI yet. We are all learning. We are all engaging with it at the same time. I have enjoyed just kind of unpeeling that onion that is the AI world.
Yeah.
It's just been great. It's been so educational. Mm-hmm. It's been quote unquote interesting. And it really has the entire way. What about you?
Yeah, I've really enjoyed it. Like we prefaced in episode 1, like we are truly just students of the game and just diving into the world and seeing what we learn. And it's been really fun to dive into and just to understand how it even down to a fundamental perspective,
mm-hmm.
like how it works in general. And what I talked about earlier, like the realization that AI has been around us for so long.
Yes.
It's just
working its little magic in the background.
Yeah. And now it's just entering our lives and our jobs in a new way. So it's been fun to explore that.
Yeah.
What's your biggest takeaway?
I think my biggest takeaway is what I prefaced this all with was just that I've learned that it is a tool and it has to be used responsibly.
Yeah.
Yes, it can be used unethically, but so can a car.
Yeah.
And it's all about how you use it. Mm-hmm. And it's all about, just using it responsibly, both personally and as a business. So again, we've talked about this a lot, but Bing Bang's never going to switch over and be all AI generated. If we are using it in anything, we're going to be transparent about that. Mm-hmm. You don't have to worry about all your videos being created via AI or the scripts being written, although that is a conversation. What should businesses have to disclose as this tool comes on board, and if they pay for it or don't pay for it? So that's interesting too.
I think that's just, which was a big part of our meeting today, was like the relationship with who you're working with, mm-hmm. right? Like if you have that close enough relationship to be like, hey, we used AI to, full disclosure mm-hmm. type of thing. It's those relationships you build. The biggest thing I learned, it's kind of like an old thing that we always discuss between ourselves, and what I think we pride ourselves on is this evolve or die mentality, and learning to embrace it and how we can use it rather than like run from it and be afraid of it. That's the biggest takeaway I've learned from it. Even like when talking about it, my dad and I like to talk business a lot. We were talking about like some tools he uses, like Evernote and all that stuff. Mm-hmm. And I was looking into Notion and like, AI generated like notes. So like I could have all
mm-hmm.
my shit written in my notes, and then it organizes it. And he like just being able to talk to my dad about he's an evolve or die guy type of.
You have to be.
I do. Shout out Todd. But yeah, just being able to embrace the technology and using it in your favor, I think, and understanding how it works.
Again,
it's not
let
like
that unknown fuel that optimism or that interest, rather than be like, I absolutely will not do that. Because if you do that, you're going to be behind. Yeah. Eventually you'll be behind.
Yeah.
And you'll be playing catch up. And you burn so much more energy when you're playing catch up rather than, and I'm not saying don't do something that you don't feel comfortable with. Absolutely not. Yeah. I would never tell someone to do that. But just, dip your toe in. You don't have to jump. You don't have to do a cannonball, Kevin McAllister style. Just dip your toe in.
I think one thing too, based on our conversation in part 3 with visuals and whatnot, mm-hmm. like before that episode, I was like, this is so cool. All the images that like it could generate and all that stuff. And then we were starting to mess around with it a little bit. I'm like, this is scary. Like it was not good.
Some of it was not good.
And it could just be because I am still like just entering the visual side of things, and I don't know how to enter the right prompt yet. But the stuff it was generating for me, I was like, what?
I'm grateful for a couple of them because they gave me the comedic relief I needed in a moment where I particularly needed it.
Yeah.
That reel you put up, we looks great. The third shoe.
I think we had one of us had 3 feet.
Oh my, there was a lot going on.
But, and even to that point where like, I discussed this with you, like when I saw what it generated, not the 3 feet picture,
No.
but
Yes.
I tried that. What was that other one we talked about last time? That creative.
Well,
I don't know. I forget what the actual name is.
honestly, I wouldn't use it because
I don't want to shit on it right now either. But I put the stuff in and I was going to have it create like a digital ad for us. And I looked at it and I was like, this is I had it do the AI copy and I'm like, this is not good. But then it even made me think like, okay, is it just not good because me and like I have a different standard, or is this like something that they see that would work? I don't know.
And that may work for somebody else, but
that's not how I would want Bing Bang to be represented in an ad like that. So that kind of toss-up came into my head from that one too.
Yeah, I like that. Again, that goes back to maybe the first episode where I said, use it, you do the work and then use it to refine rather than, or opposite. But in that case, there's no way that it could create something as brilliant as Grace could create for us. No freaking way.
No,
so, but they could maybe, add tweaks to something Grace already created or, vice versa.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, agree.
And then there was one last one that just popped in my head. In part 2, when we go through the different ways you can use AI and ChatGPT for your business, the social prompt I gave in that episode to give ChatGPT to create social media content, I have been using that for so many different projects and things I need. Like ChatGPT's help with creating. I have been using that nonstop. So if you haven't dove into that prompt yet, go listen to that episode, write it down. I literally have so many little conversations with my GPT based on that prompt,
great.
And it's really awesome.
That is great.
Is there any questions that you still have about AI that have not been answered and that you want to dive into more?
Oh, me personally?
Yeah.
Ooh. Yes. I mean, a million questions.
Yeah.
We look at it. We are marketers. So, of course, it's here, ever present. I want to know where else it's being used that we may not know.
Yeah.
I mean, medical, schools, educate,
That's a whole ethics conversation in itself. Is the schools thing. I know John was talking about that earlier today, how like some colleges are banning it and others definitely have like guardrails up around it. But sorry.
No. I just think, I know it's being used, it's being utilized where, how, it's everywhere.
Yeah.
And once you start, it's, when you get a new car and then you notice that everyone else has the same car as you, I know that we're using it. So I'm noticing, we were looking at someone's photo today. It's like, that is definitely AI generated, which is fine.
Right.
But yeah,
You're starting to...
I'm just...
how other people are using it to benefit them.
Yeah. I don't know, like, on the nose, what other questions I have, just that I couldn't go,
further
What about
into.
you?
Yeah, I like that, what other industries or whatever are using it into their business, because I think it was maybe part 2, we talked about like who are the biggest industries using it right now.
Education was a big one.
Education was, and then there was another one, because we were like coding.
Oh, software development?
Yeah, so it'd be so interesting to see or understand and get insight on how those industries are using AI to create that content. Just because like that's a part of my brain will never be able to figure out coding ever.
No.
If AI could do it, that'd be great.
Yeah. This is just so funny. And while I am on board and I'm going to evolve with it, I'm still gonna have a garden at home. Maybe have a
wholesome life,
little area that I can just store foods that won't that are unperishable foods. You just never know.
No,
you just never know.
And that goes into the last thing, is the predictions of where we see this going. It's, for me, I think of like kids are getting laptops and technology younger and younger.
Yes,
and
they
it's
are.
just another, how I see it is it's just another one of those things that kids are going to grow up with and learn how to use. Like you're seeing it in schools right now, you know, with.
They're absolutely going to. Yes.
Yeah.
So my little boy is going to start kindergarten in the fall,
Yeah.
and he's going to have access to a laptop, which is fine. He has a tablet at home, but I never let him use it.
Yeah.
And then he's going to get, whatever, I don't know what grade they get their laptop that they keep. And at first I was like, no, that's not, but that is the way that the world is. I don't haul around books or,
Right.
And have we ever gone backwards?
Right.
That's just not the way the world works.
Right.
And although I do wish this was a pill, maybe in some areas that we could unswallow, it is the future. And that's why I say things have changed and they're going this direction. So we just have to be so responsible with it. I don't want AI flying my airplane, my commercial airplane. I don't want that. And
It's driving your car.
I don't want it to drive my car. I don't, that's exactly why I don't have a Tesla. I don't want that. I mean, right. John says it already is. Of course, there's technology, but unmanned aircraft, I will not be getting on that.
Submarines.
I say that. Submarines, yikes, too soon. Some of it, I am on board with it. Some of it, I will not sit here and say some of it does not stress me out. Because it does.
Yeah. When you think of it in the grand scheme of things, it can get overwhelming. In terms of marketing, even, I see it as, like we keep saying, it's this tool, but it's like I've referenced before too, instead of hiring 5 copywriters, you're going to hire 1 prompt writer. And it's going to shape the way content is created and produced in a much more efficient way. So there's going to be more, because even our consumers now, you look at TikTok and how it's been so successful. There's people post on there 3 times a day already, and that's just human generated, it's that number is going to keep going up, and people are going to want to keep wanting more, and Chat GPT and AI is a way to keep up with that demand.
Yeah. And that can kind of stress me out too.
Oh my God.
Because you think about, and again, we're never going back there. And I think this is unfortunate that we'll never go back there. If you ever watched Mad Men, or you ever watch those shows about advertising agencies and how the work and the thought and the presentations and the boards and the cigarette smoking, there was so much thought and intention that went into that. And unfortunately, that's just not the world that we live in anymore. And so I do think there's still tons of quality work being done. Again, that's where the humans come in. I just want to remind everyone to appreciate that work and that old mentality. Again, I sound old. We're never going to go back to that. But I just would wish, and that's the same. That's why the actors and the writers are on strike. There is something that cannot be replaced by by this AI. So
no, I see what you're saying.
I'm beginning to get stressed out, and I know.
It kind of follows, like we always say too, or at least I do, and I know I've kind of got you on my train with this one, but just take messy action. Just do action and see what comes of it, because you never know what could come of it, especially in a world that's quick.
Ever moving.
There's never going to be a perfect time to do anything. So just take the action and just see
dip
what
your toe.
happens.
Yeah, dip your
And
toe.
if it
Again, you don't have to
fails-
take the cannonball method.
No. So what if it fails?
It's okay. You
tried.
learned something.
Yeah.
You learned what not to do the next time. There's a lesson. There's a lesson in everything. There's a lesson in everything.
Ooh, how many accents can we fit into this?
That was just a speech
episode?
impediment, I'm afraid. This has been a joy to do with you.
It's been a really, really fun. One last note I wanted to make. We are going to drop a freebie with this one, this
Yes,
bad
we
boy.
are.
We're going to have little recaps of each part, so you can even go back, take your notes, refine what you learned, and recaps everything we talked about.
That'll be a huge benefit to use. You can have in your back pocket or pin it up in your workspace and just reference it, download it. We are in a digital world, I guess. But yeah.
Let's say you can download it at info.itsbingbang.com/Chit ChatGPT.
Chit ChatGPT.
Does that work?
Yeah.
Cool.
Perfect.
I think that works cool. Perfect.
It's It's in our hands.
Yeah, I'll make Grace a to-do.
Wonderful. Shout out Workamajig.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Well, thank you all so much for hanging in there and being part of this discussion. It's been real.
Yeah, let us know your biggest takeaway. Anything you learned.
Can you believe that we made it?
Mackenzie, I think it goes without saying, we always do.
All right, you guys. Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye.